Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Today I'm bringing you a deep dive into a single line that shook the timeline and turned into a nationwide conversation. If you enjoy long, thoughtful breakdowns of the stories behind the headlines, remember to like this video, subscribe, and click the join button to support the channel. Thank you, and let's get into it. Over the past week, one sentence posted by Elçin Sangu transformed from a fleeting update into a cultural flashpoint: "Whoever cheats on me always loses." No names. No tags. No clarifiers. Just 9 words that hit with the force of a confession and the precision of a manifesto. The post was short enough to read in a blink and sharp enough to linger in the mind. Within minutes it was everywhere. Quoted, screen captured, translated, debated, remixed into headlines that promised to reveal the target, the story, the truth. If you have followed Elçin's career, you know she rarely invites the public into her personal corridors. She's selective with interviews, prefers talking about her craft instead of her private life, and has cultivated a reputation for measured calm under scrutiny. That is exactly why this sentence thundered so loudly. It sounded both intensely personal and carefully crafted. Was it a direct rebuke to a specific betrayal? A universal line in the sand? A lesson learned the hard way, now shared for others to use as armor? The ambiguity gave it power, and the power drew attention. Eyewitnesses say that days before the post, Elçin attended a private industry gathering in Istanbul. She was cordial with colleagues and gracious with fans, but kept a deliberate distance from the press line. A reporter asked whether there was a story behind her recent words. She smiled, took a breath, and offered only, "Sometimes a single sentence says more than 1,000 explanations." The reply landed like a locked door gently closed. It neither confirmed nor denied anything, it simply asserted her right to speak in her own register. From that moment, commentary split into 2 currents. One camp wanted the name, the date, the narrative arc, a clean chart of cause and effect that would satisfy curiosity and feed the algorithm. The other camp read the post as something larger than a headline, a refusal to normalize betrayal, a reminder that dignity can end a story as definitively as proof. What made the moment so magnetic is that both readings could be true. A line can be born in a specific wound and still become a banner others carry. Within hours of the post, support poured in from fans across Turkey, Southern Europe, and Latin America, where her work resonates deeply. The comment sections were full of solidarity and gratitude. Many women wrote about their own experiences, thanking her for putting words to a boundary they had struggled to define. "You said what I could not," read one message. "It's not about punishment, it's about self-respect." The phrase "always loses" became the hook. Not loses status, not loses face, loses access. Loses the privilege of proximity to someone who will not trade self-worth for excuses. Of course, the countercurrent also swelled. Pundits warned that any hint of vulnerability can be exploited by the tabloids. Others questioned whether a public figure should air anything that might be read as private. But this critique missed the shape of the message. Elçin did not stage a tell-all or point a finger. She set a principle. A principle is not gossip, it is a boundary with words. Then came the second jolt. Hours after her sentence peaked on trending lists, she posted a black and white photo with a caption sparse enough to invite projection, a single broken heart symbol. It was an image stripped of glamour, a window, a shadow, the light falling across a table. The comments multiplied. Some begged for clarity. Some urged her to ignore the noise. Some thanked her for reminding them that strength is not the absence of pain but the refusal to be defined by it. Meanwhile, the entertainment panels did what they do best: dissect. One host argued that the post marked a turning point in the brand of Elçin Sangu, from admired actress to cultural voice. Another called it strategic candor. A third panelist warned that mystery feeds misinterpretation. But no one missed the impact. Follower counts surged, engagement soared, and, quietly, several brands amplified messages of support without exploiting the moment. The unspoken consensus was simple. People respond to authenticity, especially when it arrives without theatrics. To understand why this landed so widely, we have to remember the roles that made Elçin a star. She has played women who are tender without being fragile, clever without being cruel, and romantic without permitting disrespect. Audiences grew to expect a certain moral gravity in her characters, a kind of North Star that could be clouded but not erased. When she writes, "Whoever cheats on me always loses," fans hear not only a woman speaking from experience but also the echo of a screen presence they have trusted for years. The sentence feels earned. What about the speculation surrounding other names in her orbit, co-stars from earlier series, collaborators from ad campaigns, or rumors linking her to people outside the industry? The responsible answer is the one she modeled: silence where facts do not serve the truth. She did not outsource her pain to the timeline, and she did not ask her followers to attack anyone. Instead, she reframed the conversation. The betrayal is not the story. The limit is the story. In the days that followed, a small anecdote surfaced from someone who encountered her at a cafe. Surrounded by friends, she seemed calm, even light. When the topic of loyalty slipped into the conversation, she was said to have answered in almost the same words as the post: "Betrayal is never justified, and those who attempt it lose something they cannot reclaim. Not clout. Not reputation. Trust. Once that trust breaks, the math changes. The door may not slam, but it closes. And if it reopens, it does so more slowly and on new terms." This is where the sentence becomes more than a clapback. It is a public reframing of value. In relationships, we often measure loss in what the betrayed person suffers: time wasted, dreams deferred, tears spent. Elçin's line flips the lens. The cheater loses access to a person who knows how to love, create, and withstand. The cost is not immediate humiliation, it is long-term absence from a life that moves forward. As conversation swelled, the international press picked it up. Spanish outlets called it un dardo elegante, an elegant dart. Italian sites championed the phrase as a motto. In Latin America, the sentiment trended as a universal stance. Crucially, the coverage rarely devolved into smear. The story held because it remained about principle. Commentators recognized its usefulness in a culture saturated with vague tea and unnamed blinds, a clear statement with no collateral damage. Then came the reset. Elçin appeared at a charity event with the posture of someone who has made a hard decision and chosen grace. She posed for photos, thanked organizers, and kept the focus on the cause. When asked directly about her earlier post, she refused to chew old bread. "Life goes on," she said, "and we should walk with our heads held high." The line traveled swiftly, as clean and unprovocative as the first sentence had been sharp. Two statements, together, formed a complete thought: set the boundary, keep moving. If you've watched the arc of this story and felt seen, that is not accidental. The resonance lies in its portability. You can apply it to romance, to friendships, to business. Anyone who trades your trust for short-term thrill loses the right to your nearness. You can forgive without reinstating access. You can wish someone well from far away. And you can carry your head high without carrying what broke you. Will Elçin ever tell the longer version? Maybe, maybe not. She owes no one an explainer. What she offered instead was a sentence you can fold into your pocket and take into the next hard day. In an age of subtweets and subtler feuds, her message was direct without being destructive. That is why it worked. That is why it still sits at the top of feeds across languages and time zones. Tell me in the comments how you read the line. Do you think it was aimed at a specific person, or do you prefer to keep it as a universal principle? What other moments have made you respect Elçin Sangu not only as an actress but as a person? If you found value in this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and tap the join button for extended cuts and behind-the-scenes analyses we can't fit into the main videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Take care, and goodbye.